Every now and then, mainstream media will think it's funny to try and poke the bear that is the internet. Battle of Wall Street, for example. However, every time they do this, they severely underestimate the power that is the internet. Now, for the most part, the internet is a bunch or groups of divided individuals that rarely will cross over. For example, you got 4chan, which is also anonymous, but anonymous have their own group as well. You got shitlords, which is obviously people that post trolls and whatnot. You got Twitter. Now, obviously, they will cross over into some posts. For example, shitlords will also use Twitter. Anonymous also uses 4chan and vice versa. Some of the shitlords will post on 4chan, etc. But normally those groups are sort of fairly well divided into sort of smaller groups which have a common goal. The problem is that if you are, for example, CNN, and you go through and try and air quote blackmail a person, you then get all those groups joining into an absolute Goliath and then taking you on. And this is the part where they get severely butt raped. And they have. CNN at the moment is getting more memes posted at it than I can possibly refresh the page. In fact, to show you how bad it was, at the height of CNN Blackmail trending on Twitter, I could actually keep refreshing the page and there would be anywhere from 100 to 300 new posts. That was in a matter of seconds. That's how bad it was. In fact, the hashtag CNN Blackmail was trending on Twitter, I believe, for almost up to 2 days straight. Now, there were reports that bots were being used and yada yada yada. At the end of the day, CNN Blackmail on top of the trended list for USA for like almost 2 days and trending worldwide in the number 2 spot. This is the power of the internet that CNN has grossly misunderstood. So now this is where it gets into the situation. At the moment, we currently have Poll, Anonymous, Shitlords, Kekistan, Twitter users, all joining forces to teach CNN a lesson, each with their own missions and objectives to do whatever they may need to do. There has already been several doxed information being released regarding the CNN directors and CNN staff's home phone numbers, addresses, whatever. Now, for the record, I do not encourage doxing. I'm only mentioning that just to show you the amount of shit they are currently copying at the moment. There are more memes being made at CNN than you can possibly point a stick at. And the fact is that there are other operations going at the moment to do things like, for example, I believe Anonymous and 4chan are also contacting CNN's phone support and flooding their CNN phone support with stupid questions, reporting CNN abuse, CNN blackmail, etc., etc., etc. Now, at the end of the day, why does this all happen and what brought this about? Well, this is where it gets interesting. CNN went through, and because they couldn't attack the President of the United States, they went through and decided to originally track down the guy who made the first meme. Now, there were reports that this was a 15-year-old boy, but later since we've realised that he's actually more likely to be in his 40s or 50s, due to the fact that he was actually around 15 or so in the 90s. Now, he went through and posted a few things on Reddit talking about, where he was, location-wise, what he's studying, etc. Not going to post any of that information because I don't want the poor kid dox myself, or poor adult dox myself. But at the end of the day, they've used that information then to go through, find his Facebook, contact him via email and phone unsuccessfully, and basically want to talk to him. Now, we don't know what the original email said, but they did say they sent an email to him, and they also did try and call him. And basically what's happened is, what we presume has happened is he's got home, saw the email, thought, holy shit, gone on Reddit, and then posted an apology. Now, this apology has since been deleted. It's no longer on the Reddit, but we have an archived version of it, and I'll put that up for you now. The most important thing about this is actually watch the buzzwords that are being used in the apology. Just quickly reading that, do you believe that this apology was crafted by a shitlord who's in his 40s or 50s, or B, a CNN staffer who is a journalist or whatnot, or researcher, and is more likely sent an email to the shitlord saying, we want you to make this public statement. You let me know in the comment section below. Now, obviously, after that, he's then gone through and contacted CNN, to which he's obviously verified or confirmed his identity to them, and then they came out and made this statement. Now, the problem is that this statement is all well and good, and if they had left it at the first part of the statement, would have been fine. We would have been upset. You're basically attacking one of us, but at the end of the day, no harm, no foul, sort of. But at the end of the day, it's the statement, it's the last sentence that has been posted on the bottom of this. I'll quote, CNN reserves the right to publish his identity should any of that change. Now, they've come out since, in all full disclosure, and have claimed that CNN have said that this is a misunderstanding of what we mean, but a lot of the internet's not buying it. Now, reportedly, as you can see on the screen here, he's also gone through and he was on a separate group that is actually called I'm Going to Hell for This. Now, this is where you get a lot of reports that he's been posting anti-Semitic things, anti-Semitic posts and whatnot on Reddit, and that he deserves to be doxxed. And that's the common argument that you get from the people that actually support this doxing. However, just having a quick look around the Reddit forum, you can tell that it's actually a troll forum. It's there designed specifically for people to post shit that they don't necessarily actually mean, and for them just to post memes, to post jokes, to post stuff where people can't necessarily get offended. It's just a way of just shit posting. Now, obviously, if you want an example of that, you just simply need to look at the banner for the actual main section, where it's got Ariana Grande on the stage with a whole bunch of fans with Revive written above their heads. It is designed to be offensive, to have a joke, and to basically shitpost. Do I think the section is right or wrong? Well, no, I don't really have any feeling about it, considering the fact is it is an 18 plus forum, and it's specifically designed for that purpose. It is equivalent of going into Target or Kmart and complaining about them selling clothes. But at the end of the day, just putting some context into these sections, he's even come out and said he doesn't actually believe the stuff that he's posting, that he's got all friends of shapes and sizes and colours and creeds, and he doesn't actually mean what he's posted. And to be honest, being a part of the shit posting community, I can completely admit, if you go through some of my posts, you'll probably find that I've written some stuff like that in the past, and necessarily haven't actually meant it either. I've got friends of all different shapes, colours and creeds myself, and I don't necessarily mean anything that I've actually posted in those shit posting sections. However, the reason why he's so concerned about this is because you will actually get social justice warriors who will contact your employer to say, hey, look what your employee has posted. They don't provide context, but at the end of the day, they'll try and get you fired. The main example I can show you for this is PewDiePie. Look how the Wall Street Journal went after his advertisers, and in fact, they went through and contacted the advertisers before they even ran the story. It was solely about discrediting him, getting him to lose money financially, so that they can then go through and say, look what we did. Now, obviously, because of the backlash, CNN has actually come out and made an official statement. I've got a copy of that now. We'll talk about that. So CNN's official statement is, CNN decided not to publish the name of Reddit user out of concern for his safety. Any assertion that the network blackmailed or coerced him is false. The user, who is an adult male, not a 15-year-old boy, apologized, then deleted his account before we ever spoke with our reporter. CNN never made any deal of any kind with the user. In fact, CNN included its discussion to withhold the user's identity in an effort to completely transparent that there was no deal. Bullshit! Sorry, joking on some shit. Now, like I said, basically, at the end of the day, people are not buying this. The original statement they actually said earlier was exactly this. CNN reserves the right to publish his identity should any of that change. And what they might be talking? Well, they're talking about how he's a private citizen, how he's gone through and put an extensive statement of apology, and that how sorry he actually is, and that he won't do it again. To me, that makes it sound like if you do any of that, you are going to get doxxed. That is coercion. That is exactly what that means. Even Julian Assange has come out and said that. And also, it's not just obviously the alternative media that's come out and criticised CNN. Even the mainstream media has said this, and even Ted Cruz, who is actually a state senator, has come out and said that and that. Now, at the end of the day, obviously this is very bad for CNN. If this holesolo, I love his name by the way, would actually go through and actually release the original email, then maybe we'll be able to get some original statement, maybe we could see some extra context, but obviously that's up for him to do. But at the end of the day, people are just going to assume that you're full of shit. You've been caught lying and faking footage so much in the past. Your credibility is so low that you are subterranean. Now, apart from that, CNN has also came out and put out a statement claiming that Hansa has called them, saying that I am in total agreement with your statement. I was not threatened in any way. However, that's coming from CNN. So take that with a grain of salt, maybe. I don't know. Now, the not so funny part of all this is the fact that they've actually got the wrong guy. The guy that actually created the first meme isn't the guy that actually Donald Trump retweeted. The guy they're targeting, yeah, he created the first version of it, version 1.0, for example. But the one Donald Trump retweeted is up to version 3. Someone has actually gone through, downloaded it, changed the aspect ratio, put in some music, and then re-uploaded it to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, wherever. Donald Trump has seen it somehow from one of those things and gone through and retweeted it. So at the end of the day, the person they're targeting isn't actually the one that created the one that Donald Trump retweeted and it was seen by 500,000 people. You're targeting the wrong person, you idiots. But at the end of the day, we're still going to have a shit ton of fun posting all these memes all day. They're probably going to get more butthurt than they can possibly imagine. Anonymous is off doing its thing. 4chan's off doing its thing. And the rest of us are just sitting around having a good old laugh at CNN's expense. Until the next time they do something stupid, which actually was earlier today. Again, they're like the rats that bite the cheese that's electrified. They don't learn. They just keep biting. One day the battery will die. But like I say, guys, if you want some extra cash, Alex Jones is running a contest for memes. I'll put a link to that in the description below, so feel free to go and check that out. If you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. And apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day and enjoy.